Joining me now, Representative Mo Khanna, Deputy Whip for the Progressive Caucus and a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, you helped an Afghan family of 4 leave Kabul. What did they experience trying to evacuate, and how were you able to get them on a flight?
Alicia, the Soltani family overcame huge odds to come back to our district in Milpitas, California. They were beaten with the Taliban when they were getting to the airport. They had to go a number of times to the airport. We were successful in communicating with the State Department constantly. The State Department was giving them information about when to get to the airport. Fortunately, they got onto a flight, and then we were able to get them on a flight to come back to the United States. You know, I represent the largest Afghan-American community in the country. It's an extraordinary community, and I'm so grateful that the Soltani family is back home.
I gotta tell you, as a mom of 2 girls, seeing that photo of the girl in the Minnie Mouse dress really just drives home how little these kids are and what they are up against. You know, the International Rescue Committee says the resettlement process has been much more secretive than usual to prevent these families and their relatives from being targeted. Can you give us a sense, Congressman, of how serious the threat is to them from the Taliban and other groups?
Lisa, it's very serious. I mean, you've had hundreds of constituents of mine reach out saying their cousin, their uncle is being threatened, they're concerned, and many of them still haven't been able to be evacuated. And so we need to make sure that we continue to push for the evacuation of our allies, of interpreters, of vulnerable Afghans, and of course of American citizens and green card holders and their families. After the August 31st deadline, we'll be working with the International Rescue Committee, with other organizations, and we need to make sure we don't quit after the troops withdraw.
I want to talk to you about a very specific challenge, because the special immigrant visas that we're talking about only apply to cover spouses and children under 21. What then are the options for getting other family members out?
Lisa, this is what we hear all the time, that how can I come and leave my kids behind or leave my married family behind? And it's a huge, huge challenge. And that's why when we work on these cases, we advocate for the entire family to come. One thing that really bothers me is you have all these Republicans talking about our moral duty to help Afghan Americans, and yet they don't want to take any Afghan Americans in the United States. It's absurd. Let me tell you something, because I represent the most Afghan Americans of any member of Congress. It's an extraordinary community. It's a community leading in Silicon Valley in tech, in entrepreneurship, in literature. They're going to enrich America, and it's offensive to me when we have people on TV who are saying obnoxious things about this community. They're not true. I welcome them to visit Fremont so they can see for themselves what this community has done in enriching our country.
I understand you even have a neighborhood known as Little Kabul. I do want to ask you, in your role on the committee, when do you expect to receive your next briefing on Afghanistan?
We have been receiving briefings almost every day. I want to commend the president for his decisive action to make sure that we took out those terrorists who committed that heinous attack on 13 of our troops and on 170 Afghan civilians. I'm confident that the president is going to continue to seek justice there. And I admire that the president has shown restraint. He doesn't want to get us into another endless war. And so we are being briefed constantly. I'm in constant touch with the White House senior staff. And I appreciate what the president's doing in very difficult circumstances.
All right, Representative Mo Khanna, thank you so much for your time. Next.